Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of Let's Play Art of Rally. Last time we finished with the year of 1994 and it was a glorious end, if I do say so myself. We spectacularly ended up on first place throughout 1994, even though we performed, in my opinion, quite poorly in the last country of 1994, the second country, which was Sardinia. But apparently our great performance in Finland overcompensated for it, and we still ended up on first place somehow. So I'm really glad for that. Now we're moving on to 1995, and the first country we'll be playing in 1995 will be Japan. So let's start. We'll be playing with the Liftback, I believe is the name of this car. This is a bit of an odd one. I remember this car being used by the AI opponent that ended up on third place in Sardinia, in the last stage of Sardinia. So I do not know exactly how good this... I'm assuming it has to be a good car, since it ended up on third place back then. But I do not know how I feel about controlling it, honestly. It feels... how do I say this? It feels a bit stiff, but it also has a fluid response mechanism behind it. Like, the controls feel fluid, but the steering is even more delayed than before with my last car. And I do not really like that. All of the cars with the highest acceleration in this game, I feel like, have some form of downside to them, to make sure that the player has a terrible time playing with them, to probably force the player to choose a different car most of the times and give him a handicap. This car definitely feels like its controls are meant to be absolutely disruptive. But I will try to be optimistic and still try to do my best. After all, I will have to be using this car not just throughout Japan, but also for the next two countries that come after it once I'm done with Japan. So whether I like this car or not, we're kind of stuck with it. So let's make the best out of it. It does feel like it has a lot of acceleration behind it and a lot of horsepower. Like, I feel like this car is a pretty good one. Also, I believe this is the second to last year of this entire game, so we're closing in on the finish line. Like, once we're done with 1995, which will take a bit because 1995 has 3 countries in it, and this is the first of those 3. But once we're done with 1995, we only have 1996 left, which I believe will also have 3 countries, and then we're done with the game entirely. So I do not know if there's more content after we're done with the campaign. I hope there is, but if there is not, I already need to start planning on a different game series to replace this game with. So this time around we ended up on 5th place, which is quite disappointing considering that we're playing in a really powerful car. I don't really like that, but whatever. So I think we have 5 stages in total. Yeah, we have 5 stages in Japan. I think 5 stages. I don't think, like, you can have multiple countries you play in the same year, and all of the countries will have the exact same number of stages. So if Japan has 5 stages, then the next country that comes after Japan will also have 5 stages, and the third country will also have the 5 stages. So 5 stages is the standard throughout the entire 1995 year, I guess. God, this game is gorgeous. I really wish the developers of this would actually implement an atmospheric walking simulator exploration video game, kind of also made in Unity, with maybe even recycled models from this game. Let's begin. That would be quite nice. I would definitely like. The game looks so gorgeous. I would genuinely, I think I might genuinely wanna explore this world. Like the racing mechanics are quite nice and definitely enjoyable, but I want something more than that. I want something atmospheric. This game's visuals are already atmospheric as they are, but I also want the gameplay to be like that. Racing is all fine and all, but I want to explore the world that we are set in. Had they created a genuine world to explore in, like a walking simulator or a driving simulator, where there are no opponents and you just explore the landscapes and the world, that would have been an amazing game, and I definitely would have bought it immediately. Not only that, if they implemented something similar in VR, I would purchase that immediately. Not even joking, I would immediately purchase the VR version of this game and just try to walk in the 3D world that they would have created. VR games aren't atmospheric enough in my opinion, and having more atmospheric games in them feels like that's the next big thing. Like that's, if VR will be successful, which it kind of, I don't want to say that it is already, because honestly it's really not. Like, you heard about VR as a hype thingy back in 2016 and 2017. Now in 2022, like, VR just isn't a thing anymore. People stop talking about it because it's not really novel anymore, and it's a bit too expensive for the average consumer to afford this headset. So that kind of sucks. But with that said, if VR were to finally gain popularity, and if it were to eventually grow into the public consciousness as a must-have gaming equipment for all gamers in first world countries, like it's not just a luxury anymore, it's actually an essential thing. When that will happen, I genuinely feel like the next big thing in the industry would be creating atmospheric games for VR. Like, that would be quite nice. We already have a lot of atmospheric games, both for consoles and for PC, but not enough of them support VR in my opinion. And that's a real shame, because VR actually allows for a lot of enjoyment of atmospheric games. It's not just that you see the gorgeous scenery and atmosphere through a screen, you actually see it in a 3D environment around you. And that can be both psychologically nice, and it can even be used for health purposes, but it can also be recreational, like all video games should be. So I think that would be quite a nice thing for developers to implement, and I genuinely think like this would be a game changer, more or less. Like, I think this will be the next big thing, if VR takes off, that is. And we're still not there yet. We still don't know if VR will take off. If VR will prove to be a failure and just too expensive for the majority of people to afford, then yeah, you know, atmospheric games will probably be a thing, or they will be too sparse and too few to really make a difference. I really wish VR takes off. Like, there's been many attempts throughout the decades to make a technology like VR work, but none of those have been fruitful until recently, and even recently is not guaranteed to make that much of a difference. Somehow we ended up on 9th place, which is second to last place given that we're 10 players. That's absolutely terrible. I don't know how I ended up this badly. Like, was I just ranting and playing as horribly as possible, or is the AI so much better than me? I don't fucking know what happened. That's quite unfortunate. I don't know how the game measures which place you end up on at the end. Like 9th place, was I really that terrible that race? I don't know what's going on. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to get in touch with me, I have a Mastodon account as well as a Matrix room that you can join, details of which you can find in the description of this video. And in the meantime, see you next time.